I'll tell you a quick funny story about that. I feel like I'm old telling all these stories about things that happened in the past, but I was fishing, the year I was fishing co-angler with FLW, Andre Moore, this guy named Andre Moore was fishing FLW, and he whacked, we were both fishing, I had a decent tournament. He had, I think he finished 3rd or 4th in this tournament. It was down at the Atchafalaya Basin, and I was talking to him, and I said, I was asking him how he caught his fish, and he said, I was catching them on my Beaver. What are you talking about? It's like, oh, this is bait I'm starting to make. And he hands me one. And I looked right at it and I said, that's pretty amazing. Because I knew exactly what it was used for. I knew the purpose and why and everything. And I looked at him and I was like, that's really slick. He goes, yeah, I was going right behind guys and just wearing them out. And so if you're not familiar, I've got some, I'll show you. The top one, that's the Reaction Innovations Beaver. And to me, it replaced the flipping tube. Anybody remember Denny Brower winning the Classic? He won it flipping a tube. There's something about that tube, when you Texas rig it, about that tube falling. I don't know about, you might flip it and let it fall 100 times, and once it's going to fall straight. That bait sails, it curls, it does all kind of weird, it's erratic. That is definitely an action that gets strikes. But the problem I have with the flipping tube is I know because I did it for like the next 3 years after Denny Brower won the Classic. I went out and bought me a bunch of flipping tubes, and I said, I'm going to be Denny Brower, you watch this. And I went out there, and I swear to God, I lost just as many fish as I caught on that damn thing. And I experimented with hook sets and hooks, and you name it. I fished braid, and I tried mono and fluoro, and I tried it all. And it's just a heap of plastic, and you're going to lose a percentage of fish on it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But you can get a similar action, that similar darting action, like with a Beaver or something like that. And it doesn't have that heap of plastic. It's designed to where the Sweet Beaver has that little ridge on the inside to where it's not as much plastic to set the hook through. So it's a better design from a functional standpoint with the same action. And that's the reason I put the Beaver as number 4, because it has spawned an entire category of soft plastics. Now, a lot of companies have just flat out knocked it off, and that's weak, in my opinion. They just flat out knocked the thing off exactly the same size and maybe just changed one little appendage here or there. But that's what, a lot of companies, that's what they do in the fishing industry. They can't create a new design. But some of the drawbacks of the Beaver, in my opinion, are it's got a high salt content in the plastic, which makes it tear easy. So if you're going through heavy cover with a heavier weight, the front of that Beaver will tear up, and the hook will penetrate once or twice, and then it's ripped open, and it doesn't hold the hook. It's not as durable. So what I call better alternative, and that's actually not an accurate term, it's an alternative bait because it has different action. It's the Missile Baits D-Bomb. And that's one of the reasons I designed the D-Bomb was because I fished the Beaver and I was tired of the hook poking through the body after I fished it for like 20 minutes. So I wanted to have a body that still had bulk in it but would hold the hook better. So the ribbed body of the D-Bomb, which is down here, that ribbed body holds the hook much better than this right here, because that little slot in it, the hook pops through real easy, and then once it's popped through once or twice, then it's kind of torn in the middle, and then the hook doesn't stay in very well. Well, I've caught as many as 10 or 12 fish in a tournament on a D-Bomb. It's just more durable, and we don't use high salt content in it, so it's more pliable, and it stretches a little bit more and everything. But I'm telling you, these are actually 2 different baits. They're in the same category because they're kind of the same shape, but these are 2 different baits. This bait has a straighter fall because of all that water displacement on the body, but it does hold the hook tremendously better. And then these flappers on the back of it, they're really, really thin. And our manufacturer, who is actually, they're trickled down from the Tom Mann manufacturing tree, they said, I can tell you why nobody does them that thin. And I said, why? He said, because they're a pain in the butt. They're a pain in the butt because they're so thin, they have to inject these baits with high pressure so that they're thin. But they're thin so that when that bait hits the bottom, those flappers are really slow moving. And they're thin and they continue to move. Even after you stop moving it, those flappers are still moving before they slowly settle back down to the bottom.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Gluzek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.